Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'll show you the recap of a movie titled 12 Angry Men. Stay tuned with us till the last of this video. What seems obvious needs to be seen in a detailed way. That's what we see in the movie 12 Angry Men, that is based on the trial of an 18-year-old boy who is charged with murder of his father. Jury consisting of 12 persons is to decide whether the boy is guilty or not. But here is the catch. The decision of jury should be unanimous. The story opens inside an empty New York City jury room where a judge can be heard instructing the jury about their duties. A murder trial is being held, and the arguments for the prosecution and defense are over. The jury must now decide whether the accused is guilty or innocent. The judge tells the jury that they must come to a unanimous verdict, and if they come to a guilty verdict, the accused will get the death sentence. It was a crucial situation. A wrong decision can lead to the death of an innocent boy. Such a do-or-die situation. The jury enters an empty room and talks to each other about the conditions of the room and complain that the room is without air conditioning, and even the ceiling fan does not work. The jury members talk to themselves about quickly deciding the matter and leave the room with all the overconfidence by simply seeing the surface of the case. The atmosphere is tense and oppressive. An 18-year-old boy is accused of stabbing his father to death with a knife, and most of the jury members seem to think that he is guilty. The jury members decide to take a vote on how they feel about the verdict. The vote reveals that one jury member, Juror 8 played by Henry Fonda, thinks that the accused is innocent. He explains that the life of the boy is at stake, hence they should talk about it first before deciding the matter against the boy. This annoys the other jury members, especially Juror 7 played by Jack Warden, who has tickets to a baseball game that evening and eager to get out of the room. And Juror 10 played by Ed Begley Sr., who holds a prejudice for people from slum backgrounds. He believes that they are liars, wild, and dangerous. Since their verdict must be unanimous, they try to convince Juror 8 why they think the accused must be guilty. Juror 8 didn't believe in following the sheep, rather was headstrong that the case is different from what it seems. So the jury members start a discussion about witness of the case. The witness is an old man who lived on the floor below the boy. He claimed that he heard a fight upstairs and the boy yell at his father, "I'm going to kill you," shortly before the murder took place. Then, he heard a body hitting the floor. Immediately after this, the old man said he saw the young man running down the stairs. Another witness, a woman who lived across the street from the young man and his father, said that she saw the boy killing his father. There was an elevated train track running between their two buildings, and the woman said she saw the murder take place through the windows of a passing train. In his defense, the boy told the court that he did argue with his father, but at the time of the murder, he was watching a movie. However, the boy could not remember either the name of the movie or the actors. The boy also had a history of petty crime, including one instance of assault with a knife. The main reason many jury members think the young man is guilty is that the knife used for the murder was distinctive and specially designed. This knife had also been proven to belong to the young man. At this moment, Juror 8 produces an exact replica of the knife he had purchased from a pawn shop near the murder scene. Juror 8 further presents a convincing argument the man could not have heard the voices as clearly as he had testified due to the train passing by at the time. Moreover, "I'm going to kill you" is often said by people who do not literally mean it. Afterward, Juror 11 played by George Voskovich questions why would the defendant come to retrieve his knife 3 hours later after fleeing the scene, as the old man claimed there were no fingerprints on the knife. Not convinced about the charges on the boy, Juror 11 then changes his vote. Till now, Juror number 5, 8, 9, and 11 has voted not guilty. This scene was clearly stating that speaking up the truth is better than following the liars. Juror 8 now recreates the murder scene to show how the old man could not have seen the young man run down the stairs. The reason was that the old man had suffered a stroke and walked with a limp. The boy took about 15 seconds to run down the stairs. In that time, the old man would not have reached the door because of his limp. He could not have seen the young man run down the stairs. As the old man's testimony now appears questionable, Juror 3 reacts violently and threatens to kill Juror 8. Juror 8 uses this to argue that if the young man had indeed threatened to kill his father, it did not prove he necessarily did so. Another vote taken by the jury members shows that they are now evenly split, with 6 jury members voting not guilty. Juror 8 continues to argue that the evidence against the accused is weak. Soon after, a rainstorm hits the city. Due to this, the baseball game is postponed, for which Juror 7 has tickets. Now Juror 7 can relax and pay attention to the case. Juror 4 played by E.G. Marshall states that he does not believe the boy's alibi that at the time of murder, he was at the movie with friends because the boy could not remember the actors in the movie or story of the movie when questioned by police shortly after the murder. Juror 8 says that the accused may have forgotten the details of the movie he had seen due to the emotional stress of seeing his father dead. He asks Juror 4 to remember the events of previous days. Juror 4 remembers, with some difficulty, the events of the previous 5 days, and Juror 8 points out that he had not been under emotional stress at that time. Thus, there is no reason to think the boy should be able to remember the particulars of the movie that he claimed to have seen. Juror 2 calls into question the prosecution's claim that the accused, who was 5'7" tall, was able to inflict the downward stab wound found on his father, who was 6'2". Jury members 3 and 8 conduct an experiment to see if it's possible for a shorter person to stab downward into a taller person. The experiment proves the possibility, but Juror 5 then explains that he had grown up amidst knife fights in his neighborhood and shows, through demonstrating the correct use of a switchblade, that no one so much shorter than his opponent would have held a switchblade in such a way as to stab downward, as the grip would have been too awkward, and the act of changing hands to time consuming. Rather, someone that much shorter than his opponent would stab underhanded at an upwards angle. This revelation augments the certainty of several of the jury members in their belief that the defendant is not guilty. Increasingly impatient, Juror 7 changes his vote just so that the discussion may end, which earns him the ire of jury members 3 and 11, both on opposite sides of the discussion. Juror 11, an immigrant who has repeatedly displayed strong patriotic pride, presses Juror 7 hard about using his vote frivolously, and eventually Juror 7 admits that he now truly believes the defendant is not guilty. When another vote is taken, only jury members 3, 4, and 10 are still in favor of a guilty verdict. Following the results of the vote, Juror 10 gives a vicious and racist speech which other jury members found disturbing. Juror 9 brings up the eyewitness testimony of the woman across the street who claims to have seen the murder take place. He points out that she is likely to have poor eyesight and wears glasses and could not have seen what she claimed. This convinces all the jury members except Juror 3, who then launches into a bitter, personal rant about his own life. It is revealed that his relationship with his own son is deeply strained, and his anger over this fact is the main reason that he wants the defendant to be guilty. Juror 3 finally loses his temper and tears up a photo of himself and his son, then suddenly breaks down crying and changes his vote to not guilty, making the vote unanimous. As the jury members leave the room, Juror 8 helps the distraught Juror 3 with his coat in a show of compassion. The film ends when the friendly jury members 8 and 9 exchange names, and all of the jury members leaving the courtroom having completed their duty. This movie showed us effortlessly how to stand for justice even when everyone you is still wearing mask. Because a truth can make a person or take him to deathbed. So friends, hope you all like this short summary of 12 Angry Men. This American courtroom drama was released in 1957. Share your reviews with us in the comment section and do subscribe this channel. Thank you for watching.